Hello and welcome back to Learn the Bible in a Year for March 27th, 2026. Today is Quirky Country Music Song Titles Day. Yes, that is a real holiday, and no, I never heard of it either. So if you ever felt the urge to write a song called I Still Miss You, but my aim is getting better, today is your time to shine. Today we're going to be covering a talking donkey, a Roman soldier who understood authority better than the religious leaders, and the difference between building your life on the solid rock versus sinking sand. So let's jump right into it. So, into our Old Testament reading here, we're in the book of Numbers, and the Israelites are camped right on the edge of the promised land, which has the local king, Balak, absolutely terrified. Balak decides to hire a spiritual mercenary named Balaam to come and put a curse on Israel. Balaam saddles up his donkey and heads out, but God isn't happy about this little road trip. God sends an angel with a drawn sword to block the path. Now, Balaam, the supposed spiritual visionary here, is completely blind to the angel, but his donkey sees the divine messenger perfectly. The donkey swerves and crushes Balaam's foot against a wall, and he finally just lays down in the dirt. Balaam loses his temper and starts beating the poor donkey. And this is where things get kind of wild because God actually opens the donkey's mouth. The Hebrew word here for opened is patah, P A T A H. It's the exact same word used when God opens a barren womb or opens blind eyes. God is the one who grants access and revelation, and he gives this humble, dumb animal the ability to speak reason to a foolish prophet. Now, a question you might have here is why would God use a talking donkey? In the ancient world, people like Balaam made their living claiming they could manipulate the gods and see into the unseen spiritual realm. God is using a profound sense of irony here. He's showing that this simple beast of burden is more spiritual in his eyesight than this highly paid famous diviner. It's a humbling reminder that God can speak through whatever and whoever he chooses. When Balaam finally arrives, King Balak takes him up the high place to curse Israel. But every time Balaam opens his mouth, blessings pour out instead. Balaam realizes he's completely powerless, and he essentially asks how he can curse what God has not cursed. God's covenant with his people is unbreakable, and no amount of money or spiritual manipulation can override God's sovereign blessing. All right, now let's jump into the New Testament. And Jesus has just chosen his 12 disciples and is in the middle of a major teaching moment with a massive crowd. This major teaching moment is commonly known as the Sermon on the Mount. And today, Jesus starts by flipping the religious script on judging others, telling the crowd not to condemn, but to forgive. He uses this almost comical image of a guy walking around with a massive wooden plank sticking out of his eye, trying to pick a tiny speck of sawdust out of his friend's eye. It's a call to deep self awareness. Jesus is saying that our own sin should be the heaviest thing that we feel, not the failures of the people around us. He then moves to the famous illustration of the two builders. One builds his house on the solid rock foundation, and the other builds on the sand. And when the storm comes, Jesus guarantees that the storms will come, only the house on the rock survives. The rock isn't just hearing Jesus' words, it's actually doing them also. Obedience is the foundation. After this teaching, Jesus enters Capernaum and encounters a Roman centurion. The man is an outsider and he's an occupying soldier, but his servant is deathly ill. The centurion sends word to Jesus and he tells him that he doesn't even need to come into the house. He says that Jesus just needs to say the words and his servant will be healed. The centurion explains that he understands authority. When he tells a soldier to go, the soldier goes. He recognizes that Jesus has the same absolute authority over sickness and the physical world. Jesus is absolutely amazed by this. He turns to the crowd and he says he hasn't found faith like this anywhere in Israel, which, as you can imagine, is a very bold statement for Jesus to say to a Roman centurion. The religious insiders were consistently demanding signs and questioning Jesus, but this Gentile soldier simply trusted the authority of his words. Alrighty, now let's read through our Psalms for today. And we are reading Psalms 37, verses 32 through 40. The wicked watches for the righteous and seeks to put him to death. The Lord will not abandon him to his power or let him be contemned when he is brought to trial. Wait for the Lord and keep his way. He will exalt you to inherit the land. You who look on when the wicked are cut off, I have seen a wicked, ruthless man spreading himself like a green laurel tree. But he passed by, and behold, he was no more. Though I sought him, he could not be found. Mark the blameless and behold the upright, for there is a future for the man of peace. But transgressors shall altogether be destroyed. The future of the wicked shall be cut off. The salvation of the righteous is from the Lord. He is their stronghold in the time of trouble. The Lord helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in him. All right, just a quick word from our sponsor. And our sponsor is Covenant Security Equipment, who partners with building contractors who build with safety in mind. They provide things like bullet-resistant windows, secure transaction systems, drive-through installations, and much, much more. Honestly, me saying these words doesn't mean a whole lot. Just go to covenantsecurityequipment.com to figure out what they do over there. It's really mind-boggling. And also, if you haven't done so yet, pick up a copy of the Learn the Bible in a Year workbook. I did write this book, and I wrote it for you who are going through the Bible in a year with me. This book is kind of like a journal. The paperback version you can pick up in the show notes. You can also get the digital version, which is 100% and totally for free. The link to both of those versions are in the show notes. All right. What was your main takeaway from today's reading? My main takeaway is Jesus' analogy about having the plank in my own eye and the speck of sawdust in my friend's eye. And this is something I see all over the place. I see it in my own life sometimes, but I also see it all over the church and all over the world, where it's so easy to see the flaws of those around us. But gosh, isn't it hard to see our own flaws? You can kind of see that in reverse too. Like somebody can give me advice or somebody can point out some of my flaws. And it can be so frustrating when I'm like, hey, man, you struggle with the exact same thing, but maybe 10 times as much, right? So Jesus is trying to put this all to rest to say, hey, why don't we take care of the log in our own eye, the plank in our own eye, before we go and try to get the speck out of our neighbor's eye. Totally true 2,000 years ago. And guess what? Totally true today. What was your main takeaway from today's reading? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, so go ahead and put your thoughts down there, and I'll take a look at that. Alrighty, well, that is the episode for today, and I will see all of you cool cats again here tomorrow.